Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sean, sometimes known as the Beast, and this video is something slightly different. I was actually planning on doing sort of a what's been spinning type thing and show 5 albums. On Monday of this week, which will have been, well, it's Thursday the 6th of November as I'm recording this, so whatever date that makes Monday, I got a letter, record through the door. And I was first made aware of it by Matthew over at Altars of Madness. The way he described the record had me intrigued initially. The story behind how the record came to be was, you know, very, very emotive and sort of like, yeah, piqued my interest even more. So, being collector scum, obviously I had to track down the copy, and they say it came on Monday this week. It's probably, apart from one other thing I listened to yesterday, it's all I've played all week. It is absolutely incredible. Therefore, I thought, well, rather than just show it on a this is what's been spinning all week type thing and 5 or 6 other records, I think it deserves its own, call it review I suppose, but it needs to be heard by a lot more people. So, the band in question is called Sakna, S-A-K-N-A. I will leave the name in the, well, I'll try and put it down here somewhere. The album, and I apologise because I know for a fact I'm going to butcher it, is called Dødssynder. This was actually recorded in, well, the recording of it began in 2006 by a young, and I say young, I mean a 14-year-old chap who went by the name of Solemn. By 2010 all of the individual parts were recorded, just awaiting to be mastered and such like. What Solemn has done here is he's done sort of a musical interpretation of the Dante's what's it called now? Divine Comedy, you know, which goes into the 7 layers of hell and such like. Now, Solemn, as I said, he was 14 when he started this, finished the recording of it in 2010. Unfortunately and tragically in 2011 he took his own life, and all the parts that went into doing this were sort of just sat there, probably never going to be heard. Anyway, his brother S then decided to, with the help of a few other people, to sort of remaster or master it and mix it and release it for us to hear just how amazing what his brother had done. Now again, you know I'm not a massive fan of coloured vinyl, but to be honest, if this had been the worst, nastiest, most horrible colour ever, it wouldn't have bothered me. This is absolutely a truly wonderful listen, and it deserves to be heard by many, as I said. Now it is available on the, I think you pronounce it Hyperthral record label. This is the record label that is owned by Solemn's brother, owned and ran by Solemn's brother. He was actually kind enough to stick a note in. I think that you should be able to pick that up on the camera, I'm sure. But yeah, so by releasing this, I think this is a fantastic legacy for an undeniable talent that Solemn owned. And like I say, the fact that he was such a young man when he started this, it's ridiculous. So what I thought I'd do is I'd do a little bit of a review, sort of track by track type thing. Now I will keep looking down here because I've made quite a lot of notes regarding this. Now the opening track, I'm not going to try and pronounce any of the track names because, to be honest, they're all Let's see if the camera will pick them up there. We can see that they're all quite, I'm not even sure what language that is. It's actually, the Solomon's from Canada, so maybe some type of French Canadian. I'm not sure, and I wouldn't want to assume, but the words I know if I try and say them I'm just going to butcher them, so they're going to be called track 1, track 2 and such like. The opening track starts with very atmospheric keyboard, sort of a choral chanting alongside it, and then there's a lady's voice comes in, and it's quite harmonious type sound, and it sort of it builds the anticipation of what to expect, because you don't really know what to expect. Then the guitars start to come into the mix and gradually get more to the fore. The drums, when the drums kick in, they bring with them sort of a heaviness, but also a sort of a depressive feel. And this same depressive, melancholic feel, it's accentuated by very harsh black metal style vocals, but they are sort of, they're back in the mix, and that sort of adds to what the feeling of anguish and sadness. Absolutely cracking way to open a record. Track 2 by definition is a black metal record, a black metal song in as far as blasting drums, rapid guitars, harsh vocals, but it's so much more than that. There's a groove throughout it that sort of creates an almost joyous atmosphere, which is far different from what you'd expect. The sound of strings, an acoustic guitar, bring things into almost like a dreamlike state. The layers of music are just unending as the lead plays over the top, but it's not overpowering. We get an accordion comes into the mix. Again, that gives it sort of that more like a traditional folk music style. But again, the guitar and the vocals sort of create this like a maelstrom of chaos, and just sort of, it's savage without being, I was going to say it's savage without being nasty, which doesn't really make sense, but it's that sort of a vibe. Well, for me it is anyway. Now, track 3 has a runtime of over 16 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it at all. It's hauntingly mesmeric as it plays out. There's an ambient sound of the wind right at the beginning, with a sort of a really soft acoustic guitar sound over the top of it, which is, it's quite depressive, but it's also really hypnotic, and you're sort of hanging on what's going to happen next. There's a massive, not a massive, sorry, but there's a crash of drums that sort of changes the mood quite drastically. The guitar parts that were quite soft start to come more to the fore, and it's a really simple sounding but really memorable guitar line, hook, whatever you want to call it, and it'll have you humming along to it. You know, it's definitely an earworm. Then there's the obligatory sort of screech of vocals, and then the electric guitar picks up what the acoustic guitar was playing, and it just absolutely, the layering on and the way it's been mixed is absolutely exemplary. Now obviously I would assume that the mixing and such like is open to interpretation if that's how Solomon would have done it, but the way it's been done is absolutely, it's just fantastic. It's got almost an epic doom type feel to this track. I mean, 16 minutes long, so you expect it to be something like that, but it doesn't hang around for too long. It doesn't make it seem out of place. It all just flows. The song construction is absolutely, it's top notch. There is some more harsher parts when Solomon starts almost like barking his vocals, and there's a feeling of like almost a palpable feeling of despair, and again the anguish, but the aggressive music that goes with it sort of eases your feelings as well. I'm probably not doing a very good job at describing it, but it's, even if you just listen to one track, if you go for track 3, which is, should we have a go? Track 3, oh, it's called Del 2, and then a word I could never say. It's absolutely wonderful. I will leave a link to the video in the description, because it's definitely worth listening to. It's absolutely incredible. I think this song alone will probably resonate with fans of different genres. You know, it's, even if that was the only thing that Solomon had ever recorded and put out, it just goes to show how much talent this guy had. I mean, there's even some there's harpsichord parts, there's flutes into it, and you know, you might think, oh, what's that doing in a black metal record? This isn't just a black metal record. This is far more than just a black metal record. To be honest, if you're only a fan of lo-fi, raw black metal, you probably won't like this. You know, there's a lot of mood changes, there's a lot of atmosphere, there's a lot of mellow acoustic parts, but it's got such a like a wonderful heaviness and thickness throughout. It's unbelievable. And then there's he seems to use the natural sounds of the forest, and rivers and trees and bird song and stuff like that, alongside some fantastic, almost virtuoso piano playing, and it's as if the ambient sounds of the forest are a separate musical instrument. It's really, really clever how it's been done. So track 3 finishes on the piano pieces. Track 4 opens with that same piano tone, quite warm and pleasant. Again, slightly melancholic. There's a really, really crisp guitar tone into it, and then the heavy drums and growled vocals sort of increase the feeling of melancholy and sadness. Again, it's just another wonderful song. I saw, I think it was Johnny Mack I was chatting to about it, and he said it reminds him of the band Aquilus and how their music's sort of like almost like a movie soundtrack. And that is a really, really good, you know, if you were sat watching a movie, you know, with the big wide open vistas and such like, and there's always music in the background. Parts of track 4, well, to be honest, parts of quite a lot of it, but specifically parts of track 4 could quite easily fit that agenda. Everything's just played wonderfully well. And say, the fact he was such a young lad when he did it, to have that ability, it's such a damn shame that we'll never hear anything else by him. Now, this has actually got 8 tracks on the album, right? Yeah. Track 5 is actually the sort of the final track of the EP, as it were, and just wow. That's the easiest way to say it. Again, there's the way the sounds of nature are used in it. They just add layers and layers and layers to the music. The acoustic guitar is incredible all the way through it. This last track is, I haven't listened to it like in isolation. I've always listened to it all the way through. This last track builds so much emotion. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely incredible, and it's one of those songs that you think, yeah, I've just listened to something special there. Now, the 3 remaining tracks, there is a cover version of Sakna by Windir. Apparently they were quite influential in Solom's, you know, in the sound he was trying to create and such like. There's a track called Altid. That is the only thing on this record that was actually recorded with a live drum kit. It does make you wonder how much different this might have been if the rest of it had all been done with a live kit rather than a drum machine. But the drum machine doesn't take anything away from it. It doesn't it doesn't sort of like destroy the soul of the record or what he's trying to put across. Again, that it's just the mixing and mastering of this is absolutely wonderful. It's incredible. And the final track is another Bercius Australe, something like that. Again, it's just an absolutely wonderful, haunting, melodic, melancholic track. Absolutely wonderful record. Now, I've said this about a few things, but this is a record that's had a massive impact on me this week. You know, whether it's just been the right week for it to turn up and such like. But if you only ever listen to one recommendation I ever make on this channel, hopefully you listen to a few, but I would definitely recommend that you give this a spin. It's not, like I said, it's not lo-fi, all-out, angry, aggressive black metal. It's got so many different contours that it's incredible. It really is incredible. It's the best thing I've heard this year, and it would be number 1 in my album of the year list. But I think because of the fact it was recorded so long ago, it sort of feels like it would be a bit of a cheat for this year. But I can say hands down, 1,000,000%, it will be an honourable mention of the best thing I've heard in 2025 by an absolute country mile. So yeah, so I'll write the the title down below, as I said. But if you get the chance, and you've got a little bit of time to listen to something fantastic, then please head over to, there we go, just got the sticker back out, Hypertheral Records, and grab yourself a copy of this. This is Sakna and Dødssynder, just out on Hypertheral Records. So that's it. I said it wasn't actually a video I planned on doing, but it's had such profound effect on me this week. I've probably listened to it, it'll be somewhere in the region of 20 times. I got the download code as well, so it was digitally, I put it straight onto my phone. So even when I've been doing other things, when I wasn't either stereo or if Mrs. Beast was watching the TV or anything, it's been just playing constantly. Honestly, it is absolutely wonderful. So that's it for this one. I will be back with the records that I was planning on showing originally, but that was a bit special, that one. So yeah, if you've stuck it out this long, thanks very much. Do the usual YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, things like that, and be back. It will be probably be sometime at the weekend with the one I was going to show. And till then, enjoy whatever music you're listening to, whatever genre of music you're listening to, and as always, till next time, cheers.